प्रमाणमबलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादरः न परः. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that the best 5 items that we need to always stick to are Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajeshatanaya Krishna, his Vrindavan Dham, and also the holy name of Krishna, the gopis of Vrindavan, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the purpose of life is Krishna Prema. So we need to hold on to this. In this ever-changing world, where people's habits change, preferences change, outside atmosphere changes, people's obsessions, excitements, habits, they all change. So many new apps keep coming into this. We should hold on to never-changing things in this ever-changing atmosphere. Please come forward so that devotees can be comfortably sitting behind. So circumstances keep changing, preferences keep changing, priorities keep changing, but what will never change is the holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the process of bhakti, and the foundational principles of devotional service that are Sravanam and Kirtanam. They will never change. So we should hold on to them. Any tribulation that you face in life, any ups and downs that you face in spiritual life, the solution is back to basics. Do Sravanam and Kirtanam. You don't have to find a new solution. Same solution, Sravanam Kirtanam. Absorb yourself in the holy names of Krishna, hear Krishna Katha, Hari Katha. Back to basics. But to even get the thought that, this Sravanam and Kirtanam are the solutions to my problems in spiritual life. Even to understand it and implement that will take a lot of effort from our side, unfortunately. We need to be very conscious and cautious in holding on to these never-changing items of bhakti, in this ever-changing ambience of material world. That is the process of sticking to the path of bhakti. Why devotees deviate in Krishna consciousness, whether it's brahmacharya ashram life or the whole life of Krishna consciousness, sometimes there is a deviation. Deviation happens because of multiple reasons. But before I say it, I want to hear from you. Why do you think people get distracted or deviated from the path of bhakti or get distracted in ashram life? Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Insufficient engagement in devotional service. Good point. You can note down. Yes, Prabhu.
Not proper reading and hearings. Sufficient.
Insufficient pathanam and sravanam. Right. Next.
Lack of knowledge about spirituality and like we are not sure. We always in doubt whether it is.
Lack of spiritual knowledge, doubts and confusions. Yes, Prabhu. No accountability towards a spiritual authority. Being swairachar, being very independent in one's practice of spiritual life without being accountable or responsible or obedient to someone, some guide. Good. Next. Okay. Not following the instructions of Guru. Next.
Uncontrolled mind and senses.
I thought someone will say it. Lack of mind control and sense control. You are writing everything, Guru? Next. Any other? You know everything. Anything else?
Criticizing Vaishnavas and committing Vaishnava aparadh.
Vaishnava Ninda and Vaishnava aparadh. We discussed about it elaborately yesterday. Next.
Not getting desirable outcomes.
Not getting desirable outcomes. What's the desirable outcome?
Like one
Krishna Prema is the desirable outcome. That's what they said till now.
Yes. Actually, if someone is trying to achieve or attain a path, and he is not getting straight into it and getting his mind deviated in different things, so he is not getting the desirable outcome. So he may back off.
Okay. Basically, not having a sense of accomplishment or crossing certain milestones in the journey, feeling that I'm stagnant, not moving anywhere, I'm not progressing. That you're saying, right? Okay. Fine. Correct. You're right. Anything else? Yes. Huh?
Losing taste in bhakti.
My question is, why do we lose taste in bhakti? That's the basic question. Yes, Prabhu, you want to say something? Anyone else? Okay, I think enough reasons. Yes, Prabhu. Not attending morning program. Good. Thank you very much. Let's discuss about these few points. What is the first one, Prabhu? Even before that, something else is there. Or after that, insufficient reading and hearing, insufficient engagement in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So let's discuss on these few points. The Shastric viewpoint. First, this devotee said insufficient engagement in bhakti, lack of proper engagement. You know what? Someone else said lack of sense control, mind control, many things, because some of these are interrelated, or many of these, in fact, all of them are interrelated. So we'll cover a couple of points in one go. Someone said lack of mind control, lack of sense control, and all. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam sthiram tatastato niyamyaitat atmanyeva vasham nayet. Whenever your mind is getting distracted, or even whenever your senses are getting distracted, you should try to pull the mind back. In other words, in Ashtanga terms, it's called pratyahara. Ahara means food. Pratyahara means no food. Ahara, food. So your sandwich and pizza are the are food for the body, for the tongue. Ahara for the tongue. But nice music is ahara for the ears. Sweet fragrance is ahara for the nose. Nice visuals are ahara for the eyes. Soft objects are the ahara for the hands or the skin. Thus, pratyahara is not just restricting your ahara. Pratyahara means controlling your senses, all the senses. It also indicates controlling your mind also, because the mind is the boss of senses. The mental distractions are seen as sensual distractions. The mind has a desire to fulfill the mind's desire, material desire, senses will start functioning. So pratyahara includes mind control and sense control. So Krishna gives this formula for mind control and sense control. Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalamasthiram. Whenever the mind is deviating from what you are supposed to be doing in bhakti, tatastato niyamyetat. Bring it back, bring it back. Niyamyetat means regulate that mind. Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Bring it back under control. Just like a small child, baby, sitting on mother's lap, and the baby is just extending the hands and picking up the skis. What will the mother do? If it is only this much, mother may allow the child to play. But there are some sharp objects here. Mother will take it away. The child goes and touches some toy. Mother will say, "Okay, play." But if the child goes and touches the knife, mother will immediately pull the child back into her lap. Whenever the child is touching some harmful objects, mother will restrict the child, control the child, pull the child back. Whenever the child is touching some harmless objects, mother will allow the child to do so. Okay, play, no problem. Similarly, learning from others, we should also act like mothers and understand that our minds are like restless children. They have a tendency to explore everything around, but every exploration may not be positive or necessary or beneficial. So whenever the mind is dwelling on some negative thoughts or negative desires or negative perspectives, pull the mind back. For that, you need to sharpen your intelligence. That's where the importance of insufficient Shastric study comes into picture. You should study Shastra nicely and sharpen your intelligence and control the mind and control the senses. So when your intelligence is strong enough, then you will have the ability to withdraw the distracted mind back and focus on devotional service. For that, taste in Shastra is important. Understanding Shastra is very important. When you understand Shastra, you will not only become intellectually and philosophically strong, you will also become emotionally strong. By studying the sweet pastimes and qualities of Krishna, you become emotionally strong, you become emotionally nourished. Your emotions are attracted towards Krishna. Thus, you create an emotional bonding with Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. And also, you develop an intellectual conviction on Krishna's Tattva. Bhagavatam, the Shastra, is a combination of Siddhanta and Leela. Siddhanta is philosophy, that's intellectually appealing. Leela is pastime, that's mentally and mentally nourishing and nourishing to the heart. So you become strong in heart and in head also. Your head and heart should become strong, not that strong-headed. that's what I'm saying. Intellectually strong, philosophically strong, rationally strong, logically strong. So you study the Siddhanta, philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and become strong at your intellectual level, and also nourish your emotions by meditating on Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. So when that intelligence is sharpened enough, then that intelligence, sharpened intelligence, will be able to control the distracted mind and senses. Thus, Shastric study is important, and but Shastric study, Shravanam Kirtanam, done in the association of devotees is even more effective. Therefore, importance of association, importance of Shastra is important. Now, coming back to our original point of insufficient engagement in bhakti, this is also very important. Our sense gratificatory desires, mental doubts, confusions, distractions, allurements, all these are like ripples on a river, on a flowing river. Have you ever seen a flowing river without any ripples? Have you ever seen? The ripples on a flowing river will never stop. Similarly, our sensual distractions or material desires or lust or all these anarthas will never stop. Big statement. Just like ripples on a flowing river will never stop, our material desires will never stop. But when that flowing river flows nicely and meets the ocean, the oceanic tides will become more prominent than the small ripples of the river. Do you agree? When the river merges with the ocean, who will become more prominent? The ripples of the river or the tides of the ocean? That ocean is Guru. The tides of the ocean are Guru's desires to serve Krishna. Okay. The spiritual master's desires to render great services to Krishna are like oceanic tides. When a disciple aligns himself or herself with the desires of the spiritual master, the disciple's own insignificant material desires will be sidelined, will be dominated. Disciple is like river, Guru is like ocean. Disciples' distractions and sense gratificatory desires are like insignificant ripples of the river, but Guru's desires to serve Krishna are like big tides and waves of the ocean. So only when the river meets the ocean, river's ripples will become insignificant, non-existent. But as long as the river is away from the ocean, ripples are there. So other point is also covered, right? Not aligning with Guru's instructions, So we need engagement in Krishna's service. We have to keep our schedules busy enough, not so passionate, but sufficiently engaged enough, busy enough, so that Maya does not find some gaps to intrude into our schedules, into our minds. Maya keeps on finding some gaps. If you don't, there is a pickle. Andhra people are very fond of pickles, or many people probably. So if you don't tighten the lid of the pickle jar properly, if you allow moisture to enter, pickle will catch fungus. Right? Similarly, if you don't tighten your schedule properly, by keeping sufficient engagement in Krishna consciousness, enough services, enough responsibilities, enough Shastric study, whenever you get little time chanting some extra rounds, whenever you get little time picking up a book and studying the pastimes of Krishna, then the fungus of Maya will enter. Right? Maya will enter, will eat away our brains, will distract us from bhakti. So, sufficient engagement, not too passionate that you keep on engaging yourself, doing so much of hard work that you forget Krishna only. Right? So, when you're doing too much of service, we may sometimes get distracted from Krishna himself in the name of Krishna Seva. For us to be rooted in Krishna consciousness, we need to keep our engagement in a balanced way. So please come forward. I think I can go back also, because there is insufficient space behind. If there is sufficient engagement and balanced engagement, a perfect balance of quality service and quality Shravanam Kirtanam, quality bhajan and quality seva. Not only seva, or not only bhajan. So you should have some bhajan, core Shravanam Kirtanam, and should also have some seva, and there should be perfect balance between these two. So then, if that balanced engagement packs your schedule, then you will be able to absorb. You will not allow Maya to creep into your schedules. Okay. We are supposed to learn a lot from farmers. You know farmers? Vyavasayatmika buddhir. You also say? Ekeha kurunandana बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि means vyavasai means resolute, focused. Anything else? Some Andhra people can give answers. What is vyavasai? Farming, agriculture. Okay, cultivation. So, of course, it has multiple meanings, but one meaning is cultivation. For a farmer to grow a crop, how much hard work he has to put, He has to sow the seeds, he has to pluck out the weeds, he has to give water, fertilizers, time to time, provide sufficient support to the crop so that it doesn't get eaten up by termites or whatever, insects, and protect the crop from the crows or cows or goats. So much protection. He has to constantly safeguard. If some cows are just allowed into the rice crop, my God, you cannot eat rice. So, like that, farmer has to be extremely on guard, very, very focused and attentive. Just as a farmer is extremely attentive in raising the crop, we have to be extremely attentive and alert in protecting our consciousness. Farmer would give water to the crop, either through pipes or maybe water will come from rain clouds only. So farmer would raise mud banks on all the four sides of the river, of the crop. Why? He has to retain that water within the crop only. If there are some leakages in this frame, the square or rectangular field, if there are some leakages, all the water will go away. And all the water is inside the crop field. Still, the water may be consumed by the weeds more than the plants. He has to pluck out the plants from inside. And you should protect the water within the field. And you should not allow the outside forces like cows or goats or crows to encroach upon the field. So distractions come from outside also, distractions come from inside also. Inside distractions are our own, envy, pride, greed, lust, etc. Outside distractions are hundreds of allurements by Maya. Now, this one little 6-inch or 5-inch object, it has so much of distraction, and you are keeping it close to your heart. Okay, so distractions are inside and outside. Of course, we have to use it in Krishna Seva, but we need to safeguard ourselves, safeguard our consciousness from getting distracted or diverted. So, fourth canto Bhagavatam gives this example. Just like the farmer raises mud banks on all the 4 sides of the river, of the crop, so that the water is inside and doesn't flow outside. Similarly, we also have to build walls around us to protect our consciousness, to retain our consciousness within our hearts and not flow outside. We need to retain our consciousness within our hearts and focus it on Krishna. Let the consciousness not just be allowed to focus on, say, movies or this or that, so many things outside, distraction. Because wherever we have little gaps in our schedules, where we don't have sufficient service or sufficient engagement, then those gaps are opportunities for Maya to creep in through with some kind of distraction or allurement or temptation. Okay, that's where our consciousness will flow away. This is actually 10th canto example. 4th canto is another example connected to this Vyavasaya only. So there is a nice water lake, clear, transparent water lake. And that water can be nicely utilized by all the human beings and even probably for crops also. But if unnecessary grasses grow on the bank of that lake, these unnecessary grasses or poisonous plants will suck away all the water from the lake and make that water unavailable for human beings to drink. Similarly, when we keep ourselves amidst so many distractions, those distractions and allurements of Maya will take away all the consciousness, our mental stability and concentration, and there is hardly any concentration or energy or consciousness left for us to focus on Krishna. Clear? With so many examples, Bhagavatam is trying to teach us the art of concentrating on our goal, focusing on our goal without getting distracted or deviated by so many allurements and temptations of Maya. Bhakti is the art of channelizing our consciousness towards what truly matters and saving that consciousness, protecting that consciousness very carefully from all kinds of allurements and temptations of Maya. It's easier said than done, but sadhakas, especially brahmacharis, have this struggle. If this is not your struggle, who else will struggle? We don't have so many other responsibilities. Grahasthas, they have so many responsibilities. Children, family members, spouses, job, vehicles, so many things are there. Despite all of those responsibilities, many exemplary Grahasthas are practicing their Krishna consciousness so wonderfully. I have witnessed it personally, even in outside countries also. Because there is focus, there is dedication, there is commitment, there is gratitude. But I also have seen several brahmacharis, despite having all facilities, the biggest facilities to stay in a temple. Sometimes we are spaced out. Does it make sense? It happens. When when we have more profuse access to something great, we may take it for granted. Yesterday we were discussing that example of someone who is staying on the bank of Ganga, considers of going for a pilgrimage and taking bath in some holy river somewhere else. Like that. So we need to protect our consciousness, safeguard our consciousness, keep it focused on our goal and not get distracted. So what helps us be in the right consciousness is sufficient engagement throughout the day. That engagement is of multiple flavors. One is your own Shastric study. Another is the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. One more is the kind of service or responsibility that is given to you by the senior devotees, ashram authorities, the kind of responsibility that you take up a service. So like that you balance your schedule with some Shastric study, proper attentive chanting of the holy names and some service responsibilities, then that kind of gives you sufficient engagement for your body, for your mind and for your intelligence. Your mind becomes purified the more you chant the holy names of Krishna. Your intelligence becomes purified the more you study Shastra. And your senses become purified the more you engage in Krishna Seva. Thus, physically, mentally, intellectually, you keep yourself engaged. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mayyeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Engage your mind in my service. That is called smaranatmika bhakti. Then mayi buddhim niveshaya. Engage your intelligence in me. That is called mananatmika bhakti, studying Shastra. Then third is Abhyasarupa bhakti, engaging your senses in Krishna's service. Harshikena harshikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Our senses need sufficient engagement in Krishna's service. Our mind needs sufficient engagement in chanting the holy names, concentrating on the holy names, and thinking about Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Our intelligence needs sufficient engagement by studying Shastra, understanding philosophy, and not being so sentimental or emotional, but being philosophically and intellectually very strong, not getting bewildered by some philosophical differences that we may that multiple paths may have, but be rooted in our own Krishna consciousness with proper conviction, intellectual conviction. So philosophically we should have proper intellectual conviction. Emotionally we should be very strong by chanting the holy names and by developing attraction to Krishna's pastimes. Physically, we need to be strong by engaging our senses in Krishna's service. Of course, other things like taking care of health, taking care of diet, proper sleeping pattern, yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. I'm not getting into that zone. I'm focusing more on the attitude part rather than your habits of eating habits, sleeping habits. I'm just taking that for granted. You discuss about that amongst yourself. So these are some core recommendations for a sadhaka. So we may be followed up for services. How is the service going on? Is it finished? But many times we may not be asked by others about the quality of our rounds. Are you focusing on your chanting nicely? Are you able to hear the holy name? Maybe once in a while somebody may ask, some senior devotee may ask, but that check we need to take responsibility. Okay, we need to be accountable to ourselves. And you can keep a close friend. Give them the liberty to correct you whenever you get distracted. Whenever you are dozing off in japa. Does it happen sometimes? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Does it happen? Give the liberty to your friend, another devotee who is sitting next to you. Whenever I sleep, please wake me up. Get up, get up. Then you get up and then chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Not only waking up and chanting, you ask them, give them the liberty to ask you whether you are studying Shastra nicely or not. You give them the liberty to ask you about your thought processes, your own internal confusions that are going on. You can just have an open dialogue. You do some Guhyamaketi Prachati only to enhance your consciousness, enhance the quality of your service, enhance the quality of your Sravanam and Kirtanam. So have some kind of close friends, devotee friends, from whom you can take inspiration from and support, so that you can traverse on the path nicely. When we don't make good friendships with other devotees, with Krishna Katha in the center, not only like yesterday we were discussing, right? Friendship may begin with I like gulab jamun, you also like gulab jamun, so we are friends. I'm from Maharashtra, you are also from Maharashtra, we are close friends. Or you like rasgulla, I don't like rasgulla. Whenever I get rasgulla, I will give you. Whenever you get mirchi bhaji, you give me. Right? So that can be a initial friendship bonding, reason for friendship. All these are external. Okay, you can begin like that, but that's not the real friendship. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told all his associates, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda. He told them, you are my dearest friends, closest friends. You are my genuine well-wishers. You know why? Because you have brought me all the way to Jagannath Puri and showed me Jagannathji's darshan. What does it mean? Whoever brings us closer to Krishna is our real friend. Make friendships on that basis. In your ashram, see, such a big ashram. You have at least 100 people sitting here, more than that. So many devotees are here. This is an opulence. You go to different places, hardly 10 people, 5 people sit. Because there is a rarity of devotees in this material world. Devotees are always a minority in this material world. In all yugas. What to speak of Kali Yuga? Right? We are minority jati. So amongst that minority, there is a little more concentration here, where there are 100 people sitting in one class. Okay, that means there's an opulence here. Devotee Sangha is very rare, but although it is rare, we are fortunate enough to access that here. So when you have so many devotees around you, when you have the fortune of access to so many wonderful Vaishnavas around you, paisa vasool karo. Right? Take benefit of that association by enhancing your Krishna consciousness, by supporting each other to remember Krishna more and more. Who is a friend? One who brings us closer to Krishna is our real friend, spiritual friend, real genuine well-wisher. You become such a good friend to your ashram mate, and you find such good friends in your ashram. Who brings me closer to Krishna? By helping me chant the holy names better, by helping me study the Shastra and understand the pastimes of Bhagavatam better, by helping me do my services nicely in proper consciousness, by helping me cultivate these core Vaishnava qualities of humility, tolerance, respecting others and not expecting respect from others. That's real friendship. Let our friendships not be based on some kind of emotional compatibility or physical external reasons. We are coming from the same geographical locations, our mother tongue is same. These are all some external considerations. The real consideration is my association or friendship with this another person enhancing my Krishna consciousness or not? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda as his dear friends because they brought him all the way to Jagannath Puri and showed him Jagannath Ji. And towards the end of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Mahaprabhu considered Ramanandra and Swarupdamodar Goswami as very close friends. Why? Because they are speaking about Radha Krishna Leela and helping Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experience the emotions of Srimati Radharani in separation from Krishna. Thus, real spiritual friendships are those that increase our Krishna consciousness. Let's cultivate that friendship. Although we are in the middle of a vibrant Vaishnava community, we can be thoroughly spaced out. Although we have no access to Vaishnavas, we can be thoroughly Krishna conscious. I'm telling about two extremes. You know, Satrajit, you know, in Dwaraka city, he was living in Dwaraka amongst all the Dwaraka who are also great devotees of Krishna, but he is worshipping Surya Devata. And he is very attached to a material object called Shamantakamani. Because of this attachment to material object, he even offended Krishna, disregarded Krishna's instruction. He said, Krishna, I will not give the Shamantakamani to you. Out, it is mine. He is attached to the wealth. And when his brother Prasenajit died, he even went and blamed Krishna. So, Satrajit was in the middle of Dwaraka city, a holy dham in which Krishna is personally residing. He is surrounded by so many yadus and so many devotees of Krishna, but his consciousness is totally out. But Rukmini Devi, he was sitting in Vidarbha city, Kundinapur, capital, and she is the sister of Rukmini, who is a friend of Shishupal, Dantavakra, Jarasandha. They are trying to forcefully get Rukmini Devi married to Shishupal, living Gopal. But she is thoroughly Krishna conscious. Sita Devi, she was in Lanka for 1 year, surrounded by so many Rakshasi strees who are having donkey faces, horse faces, or an eye in the belly, all kinds of hideous forms they have. They are constantly doing Ravana Katha, not Ram Katha. They are forcing Sita Devi, you get married to Raman. You sit next to Ravan. You become his Pattamahishi. You do this, you do that. My God, hearing for a chaste woman even to stand in front of another man is very uncomfortable. But here is Sita Devi, such a chaste woman. Every single day, Ravana's morning program is to come to Sita Devi in Brahma Muhurta in Ashoka Vatika and plead her, marry me, and threaten her. If you don't marry me, I will kill you. So this is his prayer every day, morning program. To stand in front of a lusty man like that is such an uncomfortable situation. But Sita Devi is thoroughly Ram conscious. You understand? So till now I have emphasized on the importance of being in Sangha. But while being in Sangha, what are you doing? That's the main point. Satrajit was in the middle of Vaishnava Sangha, Dwaraka, Dham. He is able to see Krishna probably on a daily basis, we don't know. But he is attached to a material object. On the other hand, Sita Devi is in Lanka, no devotee association, constantly surrounded by people who are constantly breaking 4 regulatory principles every day. But she is thoroughly Ram conscious. Rukmini, she is Krishna conscious. So external superimposition doesn't have so much of impact on us when we are not sufficiently determined in devotional service. You want one more example? Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kala Krishna Das accompanied Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in South India Yatra. Somewhere in the middle of South India Yatra, when they are somewhere near Tamil Nadu area, this Kala Krishna Das was attracted by or distracted by Bhattatharis. They lured him by showing some gypsy women. He went and joined their camp. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who brought Kala Krishna Das as his servant, he has to serve now, Kala Krishna Das. He went all the way to the camp of Bhattatharis and pulled him by Sikha and then brought him and rescued him. Prabhupada writes that if we are not determined in devotional service, even Supreme Personality of Godhead also cannot save us, cannot protect us. Now, he has the ability to protect us, definitely. It's not about the ability part. But unless we are determined, the Lord will not, he gives his supporting hand. He inspires us. He gives us knowledge. He instructs us. But still, if you are determined to get distracted, voluntarily, then the Lord will say, "Okay, I don't want to interfere with your minute independence. Although I am supremely independent, I don't want to interfere with your independence." We can come little ahead. Some devotees are staying outside the door. Come ahead. So determination in devotional service is a must thing. So you may have access to Vaishnava association, but what are we doing in that association is very important. Okay. Therefore, cultivate good Vaishnava friendships, but make that friendship spiritual friendships, spiritual relationships, not some ritualistic relationships, not some kind of formal hi hello kind of thing. Make it spiritual. You have opportunity. Let me give you another example. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Too many examples, fine. In Varanasi, there are two devotees. Anyone knows the names? Huh? Huh? Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra. Only two devotees. Everyone else is Mayavadi. Most of them are Mayavadis. Okay. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi. Then he met Tapan Mishra, he met Chandrasekhar. And these devotees became so happy that Lord Chaitanya came there. So this Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, because they don't have access to hundreds and thousands of Vaishnavas like here, they have to value each other's relationships so much. When they step out of their home, they will only see Mayavadi sannyasis moving around, saying Brahma, Chaitanya, not Lord Brahma, not Lord Chaitanya, but impersonal Brahman, Chaitanya, all these kind of names they speak. They consider the Lord has no form, and whatever form that the Lord appears in, that's made of Maya. That's their conception. So it's filled with Mayavadis. But Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, they held on to each other's association. When Vaishnava Sangha becomes a rarity, we become desperate to be in the company of that other Vaishnava at any cost. For example, you are traveling in a train. 1,000 people may be there traveling in the train. In your compartment, maybe 78 berths are there. 78 people smoking, watching all kinds of movies in their smartphone, or playing video games, or eating all that chat masala with onion, garlic, etc. Right? Lot of sugandha around you, lot of materialism around you. Finally, in the next compartment, you found one Vaishnav chanting holy names of Krishna. What a great solace. 15 hours of journey. How will I be amidst so many materialistic people? Potentially they are all devotees, but at this moment, in the current state of their consciousness, I am unable to find a compatibility between them. Then you go to his birth, sit next to him, chant together. Or maybe do some Mangalarti together, discuss some Bhagavatam together, hear some Harikatha together. Or he will come to your compartment and then be together for next 15 hours of journey. So sometimes we realize the importance of the association of devotees when we are away from the association. But when we are in the midst of the association of devotees, we may take it for granted. So let's value the Vaishnava Sangha around us instead of offending them. And the best way to value the Vaishnava Sangha around us is to sit and discuss Harikatha with them, along with rendering services along with them. Service anyways will happen. I'm not specifically mentioning about it. It's important for us to take up some services. As I said sometime back, engagement is engagement of senses also, not only mind and intelligence, right? But apart from your service engagements, try to also spiritualize your friendships by discussing pure Krishna Katha with other devotees. Once in a week you discuss. Maybe half an hour or 15 minutes in a day you discuss. You sit next to each other during Prasadam hall. While taking Prasad, discuss some pastime of Krishna. Discuss some shloka from Bhagavatam. discuss some points that you have heard in the recent Bhagavatam class. So like that, when we spiritualize our discussions, when we do parasparana kathanam pavanam bhagavad-dishah, when we do macchitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam, we can spiritualize our relationships. We can spiritualize matter or materialize spirit. It's up to us. So a lot of spiritual association is there. Potency to enhance our Krishna consciousness is there, accessible in this Sangha to the degree we are eager to spiritualize our interactions by bringing in the culture of Krishna Katha into our interactions. What are the other points, Prabhu? We discussed about engagement in services. That comes by Shastric study. Huh? No accountability to authority, very important point. Very, very important point. See, we need to be obedient and submissive to spiritual authorities. When that principle of obedience is not there, when we become overly independent in our behavior, especially as a brahmachari, obedience to spiritual authorities, submissiveness to spiritual authorities is a very, very important principle. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasan Danto Gurur Hitam. Brahmachari stays in Gurukul and controls his mind and senses and renders service to Guru. Guru Seva. Submissiveness and obedience to Guru is a primary qualification of a Brahmachari. Not only gathering knowledge from Guru, but also serving Guru and being submissive to Guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena upadekshantu te jnanam tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipata means submissiveness, respectful surrender. First, submissiveness. Then pariprashna, ask relevant questions, gather knowledge. Next, seva, service. So your pariprashna should be preceded by submissiveness and followed by seva, service. So it's not that you just accumulate knowledge and information from Guru. For you to convert that knowledge into realization, you need to render service. And for you to even get that initial knowledge, you need submissiveness. Submissiveness, then inquiry, then seva. Submissively ask relevant questions, not some tangential questions or irrelevant questions. Submissively ask relevant questions about Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, not in the mode of becoming a scholar or an academician or a pandit, but in the mode of becoming a servant of Krishna. To cultivate that mode of being a servant of Krishna, you should submissively inquire from spiritual master and learn from the spiritual master. Then, after that, you have to render service also. Service is that circuit that converts the input of theoretical knowledge into output of practical realization. We need to realize what we are hearing. We need to absorb it. We need to internalize it. We should not just gather information. We are studying Shastra not for information, but for transformation. We don't want just theoretical knowledge. We want practical realization. That happens by sincerely rendering service. We may hear Tranadapi Sunichena Taro Rapi Sahishnuna. When you are actually doing service with another devotee, we will understand how much Tranadapi Sunecha am I, how much Tarorapu Sahishnuna am I, how much Amanitya Matam Bhittam Ahimsa Kshanti Rajam did I have, how much simplicity do I have, how much humility and tolerance do I have, how much patience do I have. We can test for ourselves. Every situation in our life while rendering service to Krishna will help us either demonstrate a Vaishnava quality or develop a Vaishnava quality. If you already have a Vaishnava quality of humility or tolerance or satisfaction, you can demonstrate it to that extent in your interactions. If you don't have, you have an opportunity to cultivate that quality, develop that quality. So see all the situations in life as opportunities to develop or demonstrate Vaishnava qualities. Vaishnava qualities or Vaishnava character is the ornament of a devotee. We are here not only to study Shastra and become knowledgeable, we are here not only to do service, we are also here to develop our character. Three things are required. One, your Sravanam and Kirtanam, your sadhana, nice sadhana. Second, Vaishnava character means your sadachar, exactly, sadachar. Third, your seva. Sadhana, sadachar, seva, all three are required. Swadhyaya is included in sadhana. I'm just including it. And Sangha, in the Sangha only you do all these three things. So sadachar is very, very crucial. The Lord is impressed not only with the quality of our Shastric study or even chanting, He is also impressed when we interact with other devotees in a very cordial, respectful, loving, friendly manner. He expects us to interact with other devotees in friendly manner. Then He will be impressed. He will be inspired. He will bless us. You want proof? Go to the 4th canto of Bhagavatam. Study from the Pracheta section. The Lord personally says, Varam vrinidham bhadrambo yuyam me nrupanandana. How many of you know this? Sauhardena prithak dharma tushto ham sauhrudena va. Just like in Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Shloka, Krishna used the word bhakti twice. In this shloka, Krishna used the word sauhrida 2 times. Tushtoham sauhridenava, because you are friendly with each other, you have very nice friendly Vaishnava relationships, friendly relationships. Tushtoham, I am very satisfied. Sauhardena apratak dharma, you performed apratak dharma, this process of devotional service, with sauharda, with great friendship. Our bhakti is not just our Sravanam, our Kirtanam, our Pathanam. We can't be so self-centric and self-centered. We have to do all this Sravanam Kirtanam amidst other devotees. Sauhardena prithak dharma. When we will sincere in our attempts for Sravanam and Kirtanam, but if we have no inclination to cultivate loving friendships with other devotees, and if we don't have that inclination to cooperate with other devotees, be friendly with other devotees, then we are missing something in spiritual life. You may not have very close, intimate friendship with every single person in the ashram. However, we should at least have a few close friends, and we should respect everybody. Thus, in the company of devotees, when we study Shastra, when we chant holy names, when we sincerely do our services, then we become strong enough not to be distracted by Maya. Still, Maya will give us bigger and bigger tests. But to handle the more severe tests of Maya, where she increases temperature more and more, we need to equip ourselves with devotion, and we need to gather support from Sangha. Okay. More than 1 hour I spoke, I think. Any questions or comments? First, Nalini Kant Prabhu.
Devotees are actually many times. Let's take a break from regular activities and just relax. In that relaxation, only we increase our sadhana. How it has to be seen.
Relax means?
Relax means it's just moving out of regular activities,
Service.
taking a break, services or
For some rejuvenation. Yeah, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. Ahara, eating. Then balanced eating, balanced working habits. You can't be constantly, regular activities are saying. Don't just keep on stretching. Little vihara. Vihara is not going for movies. Our vihara is in mode of goodness, not in Tamagun and Rajagun. So the Vihara here is that you can just go for a stroll in the garden, go for some swimming. These are like bona fide mode of goodness kind of things. Just like I'm quoting from 11th canto, by the way. The word swimming also comes there. Okay. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the other devotees were swimming in Indradumna Sarovar, splashing water on each other, having some kind of fun, spiritual fun, fun in mode of goodness, not the modern fun of Tamogani fun and Rajogani fun. Like some little recreation, going for a yatra, having some light-hearted conversations, not only heated up conversations on management and security, this and that. They're required to run the show, but also some kind of light-hearted, friendly conversations where there is no intense chasing behind deadlines, but also some kind of little slow-paced movement where you have some time for reflection, introspection, contemplation, nididhyasanam, dhyana. That's required. We need to charge ourselves. Some little break is required. And how much is too much depends on the person. Some people 1 hour hard work, 2 hours rest. Some people 10 hours they work, still aage kya? They're very energetic. Depends on the individual. You can't just make a standard for everybody. This is the only amount of relaxation. Some little more personalized way. But yeah, some little breaks are required for contemplation, for reflection, rather than for deviation. Because that break may make a person break or deviate rather than rejuvenate. Okay, ensure that you don't deviate, but only become little rejuvenated to continue the practice of bhakti. Because body needs some rest, mind needs some rest, intelligence needs some rest. If your body is constantly being overstretched in hard work, then we will collapse after some time. When your mind is like intensely loaded or intelligence intensely loaded for planning and scheming for this service, that service, you're becoming mentally exhausted also. So you need some little relaxation. And ultimately, a devotee finds solace and relief and relaxation in Krishna's pastimes. Read Krishna book before sleeping. So Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's names are the ultimate relaxation. You want reference? I'll give you. Kalyananam nidhanam kalimalamathanam pavanam pavananam patheyam yanmumuksho sapadi parapada praptaye prochamanam vishramasthanamekam kavivaravachasam jivanam sajjananam bijam dharmadhruvasya prabhavatu bhavato bhutaye Krishna nama. This is where Rupa Goswami in Padyavali. He says, Kalyananam Nidhanam. The holy name of Krishna is the abode of all auspiciousness. Kalivala-mathanam pavanam pavananam. Kalimala-mathanam means this holy name of Krishna can completely destroy the contamination of Kali. Pavanam pavananam. Of all the purifying objects, holy name of Krishna is the most purifying and most sublime. Patheyam yanmumukshoho. Here is your relaxation part. So when somebody in the olden days, they are traveling, they don't have bus or car or flight. They would walk. Travelers in the olden days used to walk. So they keep on traveling. While traveling, they need to carry some food. Whenever they become hungry, they sit in one corner under a tree, they eat some food and they continue their journey. Mother packs lunch box for them. Just like Krishna and the Gopas, they would enter the forest. Mother Yashoda packs curd rice. You know how? She takes some rice. She pours milk into the rice. She takes some curd and sprinkles that curd on the milk rice. By afternoon, it will become curd rice. Right? So that is Yashoda Mother's lunch box packing. Like that, when you are traveling, you need lunch box with you, isn't it? When we are traveling from the material world to spiritual world, we need lunchbox with us. And that lunchbox is holy name. Patheyam yanmumuksho sapadi parapada praptaye prochamanam. You are tired of walking and walking and walking. You need some food. Holy name is the food. Also, you may not feel hungry, but you are tired. You need to take some rest. You need a resting place. What will these travelers do? While traveling, they find a small tree or a garden, some little park. They will go and sit there, relax for a while, and then they will continue. That is Vishramasthana. Vishramasthanamakam kavivaravachasam jivanam sajjananam. Vishramasthanamakam. Even our Vishramasthana, resting place in our tedious journey from material world to spiritual world is holy name of Krishna. Vishramasthanamakam kavivaravachasam jivanam sajjananam. It is the Jivan for all sajjans. We are all sajjans, right? Supposed to be sajjans. They are all supposed to be good-hearted souls, practicing bhakti. Our Jivanam is holy name. Our life force is holy name. When we are exhausted, what relaxes us, keeps us on rest is the holy name of Krishna. Have you ever experienced, you are so tired of management or service, physical service, something like that. You just came to your ashram, picked up your bead bag. 16 mala ho gaya already. Subah kar diya. But still, you just picked up your bead bag, started chanting the 17th round calmly with closed eyes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Will you find relaxation or not? You will find relaxation. Holy name is the ultimate relaxing thing. But we are conditioned souls living in the material body. Take some rest. You can't chant whole night. Like Mahaprabhu used to do in Srivasangan. Take some rest. Be practical. Acknowledge that you are there in the material body and do the needful to maintain the material body. Rest and relax. But ultimate relaxation spot or Vishramasthana for a devotee is holy name of Krishna. Okay? When we don't have taste, we get exhausted while chanting the holy name. When we have taste, we feel nourished. The whole process of bhakti is to cultivate the taste for holy name. Okay, does it answer your question, Ru? Hare Krishna. I saw this hymn first. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, two questions in this question of Nalinikan's question. So, you told that he was asking about we need some break and we are get exhausted. My question is that sometimes we have some kind of engagements like festivals, camps, some kinds of and book distribution. So, in that time, it is I am very much passionate. So, it is difficult to take out time for personal reading or like that, although mind is too much passionate and engagement is also there. So how to in this situation to balance this?
Yes. Sometimes our activities are like filled with lot of passion, action. We may be doing it for Krishna, that's how it's not Rajogun, it is beyond gunas. But still, we get affected by Rajogun, we are dealing with material energy. At that time, we may forget sound vibration. Although we have time, although we need that nourishment, we are not in a position to access it or accept it. Because mind is like hyperactive. Sometimes I also feel this. There are too many programs, there are too many services. Night, I'm thoroughly exhausted, I hit the bed, still I can't go to sleep. Because mind is hyperactive. So much action throughout the day, because mind is super active. Even though you are tired, body is tired, and you have time to rest, like body is not entering the rest mode only. Sometimes it happens like that. Let me give you one more example from Bhagavatam. See, without Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, without these books and the wisdom coming from the books, no devotional principle, we cannot identify any devotional principle without reference to these scriptures. Let me give an example, an incident, past time, connecting to your question. Lord Brahma, in the second canto of Bhagavatam, he said, Na bharati venga mrusho palakshate na vaikvachinme manaso mrushagati न मे हृषीकाणि पतन्त्य सत्पथे यन्मे हृदौत्कण्ठ्यवतः धृतो हरिः. How many of you know the shloka? One devotee. Great. In the second canto of Bhagavatam, Brahma says, in short, whatever I say, whatever I do, whatever I think is correct. Right? Yanme hridi outkanthravata dhrito harihi. I have accepted the lotus feet of Lord Hari within my heart with great zeal. Because of my connection to Krishna, my thoughts will never go wrong, my actions will never go wrong, my words will never go wrong. That is Brahma's condition. Now he's not boasting, he's stating a fact. Okay. However, that same Brahma in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, when his sons, the Kumaras, asked him a simple philosophical question, Brahma could not answer it. I don't know the answer. What should I do? I think I should meditate on the Lord. Although you don't know, no problem. But you should know what to do when you don't know what to do. Right? Know what to do when you don't know what to do. What to do? Meditate on the Lord. So Brahma doesn't know the answer, he meditated on the Lord Vishnu. Vishnu appeared there in the form of Hamsa avatar. And that Hamsa avatar answered the question asked by the four Kumaras. So, problem is resolved. But the main point is, why did Brahma forget the answer to the question? Why he could not answer a simple philosophical question of his own sons whom he has created, especially given the context that earlier he said that whatever I say, whatever I think, whatever I do is always correct because I have accepted Krishna's lotus feet within my heart with great zeal. The answer to this question is, Brahma is too caught up by his creative activities. Too much in creation, right? Creation is Rajagun. He is too passionate in doing his activities. His touch with the sound vibration is slightly slackened and he could not answer this question. Because mind is too absorbed in his creative functions, Rajoguni activities. Brahma is giving us this great important lesson to all of us. We should do service. When we engage our Rajogun passion in Krishna's service, we can dovetail our passion in being compassionate to common conditioned souls. That is fine. But while passionately expressing compassion on common people, don't lose touch with sound vibration. Then you won't be able to answer a simple philosophical question by your own counselees, right? By your own mentees. So, a balanced approach is always recommended. Do service. Of course, we have to do service, devotional service. But service has to be fueled by inspiration coming from Shravanam, from Shastra. Not in a scholarly or academic way, but in a nourishment way. So you nourish yourself with proper sound vibration coming from pure sources who are repeating the statements of Shastras. Thus you feel very nourished within. With that nourishment, with that satisfaction within, you contribute, you serve. That's it. That nourishes you. Even that service, even there is exhaustion, it's a nourishment. You don't feel exhaustion at all. But why do we get exhausted? Not physical exhaustion, I'm saying. Internal exhaustion. Physically, anybody gets exhausted because we are in these bodies. But why people get tired of doing this service or bored of doing service? Thak gaya, tab gaya, ruk gaya. Why people say that? Because there's no sufficient nourishment from within. There should be some genuine nourishment which comes from Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Krishna. That should come from Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Krishna. Otherwise, we may just get little or too much caught up in the nitty-gritties of the activities, daily, day-to-day activities that we are performing, which are ultimately under the umbrella of Krishna's Seva. But if we don't sufficiently nourish ourselves with Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila, direct sound vibration, we may feel little vacuum within. Make sense? Does it happen? So these are some thoughts. Does it answer your question? Okay. Next question. So how long should we go? Already almost 1.5 hours. I have another class at 6 o'clock. I need to start at 5:30. How to have good association of senior devotees, which is required and needed for sadhaka bhakta. PTO. There's more. But generally, association we get in ashram is mostly equal and counselor based, and we won't get senior devotees association. If I try to have senior devotee association, mostly they speak about mundane things or management problems, etc., not in a spiritual manner. If I do any service to them, they will praise like anything, but hardly any Krishna Katha. So how to have good association? Okay. Fine, this may be an experience of one individual. We cannot generalize this. Many senior devotees speak pure Harikatha also, apart from giving instructions on particular services. So we cannot generalize one devotee's experience or perception. But nevertheless, we need to acknowledge the devotee's need also. The point is that we may not be able to get what we need for our devotional service from one particular source only always. Yesterday I was answering one devotee's question. So you take the responsibility of seeking the nourishment that you need from wherever it is available from. Just ensure that it's a bona fide source. If you have undue expectation from one individual only, that expectations will lead to frustration. Then we become angry and disappointed and discouraged. So instead of expecting from one source only, you can definitely find an inspiring association of some devotees in the big community around you. 100, 150 people sitting here. Don't you find one or two people at least who are like kind of like-minded for you and Sajatiya for you, and from whom you can seek some nourishment? So we need to seek that, search for that instead of complaining. Prabhupada writes in one purport, God helps those who help themselves. Means if you are genuinely in need of that kind of association of some devotee who inspires us in Krishna consciousness, the Lord will somehow or the other bring us in touch with such a devotee. Lord will help us find such devotee right next to you also. Oh, I have never seen you from this perspective till now. Looks like you are my dearest friend who can enhance my Krishna consciousness. You may discover it after 5 years or 10 years. Okay. So when you have a genuine desire to seek such a good friend or good senior who can guide you in Krishna consciousness, definitely the Lord will arrange for it. So pray to the Lord. So you cannot always complain, but you can definitely search out for that nourishment. Be sincere. How long we keep on complaining, oh, this is not there, that is not there, they have not arranged this, they have not arranged that. They may have 100 practical constraints, but we'll have to find our own, we have to be responsible to keep ourselves motivated and inspired in the practice of pure devotional service, although we may not sometimes get the support that we expect from others. Does it make sense? Whoever has asked the question. Okay. Any other question? Yes, Prabhu.
Day by day, month after a month in Krishna consciousness.
You are holding mic, but you are not being paisa vasool.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, how to take accountability? Is I am improving or not in Krishna consciousness in day by day, in day after day, month after month?
I somehow didn't get it. Accountability, that I got, the keyword.
Yeah. How to take accountability? Is I am improving or not in Krishna consciousness?
Self-check.
Yeah.
You want to do some self-evaluation, whether I'm improving or not. No. There are multiple parameters. Yesterday I was saying, honest introspection. Honestly introspect. And what is my lust decreasing or increasing? Am I feeling genuinely happy when I see another devotee flourishing in Krishna consciousness, or am I feeling envious and jealous? That's one test. Am I being eager and enthusiastic for various sadhana elements and service, or am I wanting to cut corners and escape? That's another test. Am I feeling attracted to Krishna's Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, As am I increasing my attentiveness levels in my chanting or distraction levels in my chanting? That's another test. So these are self-evaluation tools. Then you can always take a review from your seniors, your mentors, your counselors, your friends. So you take some reviews from other devotees and you do your own self-evaluation. That's sufficient tools, right? Yeah. And offer prayers to the Lord.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So the question is like during Shravanam, like reading or like hearing lectures. So many times I feel that I am unable to remember those points, and while reading, so आगे छोड़ और आगे दौड़ और पीछे छोड़ वो वाला काम हो जाता है.
Oh,
So
nice.
how to
Poetry. आगे दौड़ो पीछे छोड़ो. Okay. Okay. आगे बढ़ो.
So how to remember those points and understand the Shastras better? So what is the key for it?
Good question. Very valid concern. Do you remember what you ate for your breakfast last Sunday? No. आगे दौड़ो पीछे छोड़ो. But because you ate breakfast that day, you are still surviving, isn't it? We may not remember the menu that we have eaten. Maybe you remember what you ate today morning, today afternoon, or yesterday, day before yesterday, but we don't remember what we have eaten 1 week back, or 10 days back, or 1 month back, or 2 years back. But the very fact that we ate that day, we are still surviving, our body is still surviving. Similarly, we may not remember everything that we read. We may forget. And it's natural, especially for Kali Yuga people. Why Krishna has to repeat what he has spoken already? Yoga nashta parantapa, it's forgotten. So forgetfulness is very common in this material world, especially for Kali Yuga people. But point is that you regularly read, hear Harikatha and nourish yourself. That day's quota of your food for soul is that. You feed your soul for that day. You feed a proper soulful meal by hearing and studying Shastra. Whether you remember it, recollect it or not, that depends on your memory. That's okay. Memory and recall are very small aspects of Shastric study. The main aspect is not memory and recall, the nourishment, the inspiration that you have, the value system that you create, knowingly or unknowingly, whether you remember it or not, by reading some books, by chanting some mantras or japa, holy names, by hearing some kathas, you have changed it, evolved in your value system a lot. Your habits have been refined. Your aspirations have been updated. Your working styles and habits have been improved. All this transformation has happened because you heard Krishna Katha. You may not exactly remember which point made me give up this bad habit. Whose Katha has made me chant the holy names of Krishna. Sometimes you may recollect, many times you may not. But the transformation is happening. So transformation of character and development of love for Krishna are the ultimate products of your Shastric study or Shravanam. And memory and recall are like small byproducts of it. If you have good memory, that's fine. If you don't have, no problem. Your transformation, your memory is not an indication of your transformation. Somebody may memorize so many things, but there is not transformation in the heart. Somebody is very transformed and evolved in spiritual life, but they may not recollect many things. But it's there in the layers of their consciousness. Whenever it's required, it just comes out of their mind. So you may forget, but no problem. Continue to study. Take that meal.
Like continuing the particular example which you are giving, like we may not remember the meal which we ate last Sunday. So, but that nourished us. So, but the thing which we ate yesterday, I remember that what I have eaten yesterday, and that nourished me. So the point is, what I'm reading now, so I'm unable to like churn out that learning, churn out that inspiration for current reading.
It comes by experience, Prabhu. How long you have been reading or hearing Harikatha?
From 5 years.
5 years. On the scale of eternity, 5 years is not even like a fraction of a second. Especially given the background that we have been spending hundreds and thousands and millions of lifetimes in this material world doing many other things. Okay, it comes by experience, it comes by absorption, it comes by purification. It takes some time, but maintain that longing, maintain that zeal and determination to continue to study. Eventually, you will be able to identify all the gem-like lessons and insights in the past times. You will be able to understand them and relish them much better. Keep continuing. One reading of Gita or Bhagavatam is not sufficient for us to explore the depth of all the pastimes and the shlokas. It's a lifetime project or lifetimes project to sufficiently understand even basics of Bhagavatam. So keep going, keep going. That's an indication that one reading is not sufficient, or 10 readings are not sufficient, or 100 readings are not sufficient. One more time I need to read. That humbles us also. Krishna Tattva is so deep. Krishna Leela is so deep. The pastime I read 10 years back, or the shloka that I learned 15 years back, when I read it again, I'm sure it will give me a newer meaning, deeper insight, because it has so much depth. At this current level of our advancement, we may understand it to some degree, but after we move ahead, we'll understand more. Let's be patient. Okay, next.
Prabhuji, in the morning class, Bhagavatam class, we saw that Narad Muni was making a prayer. So he was praying for meditation and remembrance. Like I can meditate on you, O Krishna, and I can remember you on my travel. So this meditation and remembrance are one and the same, or like
there is overlap, but technically, if you see the dictionary meaning, there may be difference. Smriti is remembrance, as you said. Dhyana is deep thinking, meditation. It may lead to samadhi, absorption. Smriti is remembrance. Or in Ashtanga and Bhakti Yoga terms, Dhyana is the 7th level of Ashtanga Yoga, and Smriti, Smaran, is the 3rd limb of Bhakti. Prabhupada writes in one purport, what they do at the 7th step, we are doing in the 3rd step. Right? So there's an overlap, but you want a very deep technical difference, this is the difference. But it's okay. Be Krishna conscious, that's the essence of both. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar to give that finer difference in the meaning, but essentially that's to be Krishna conscious. You already asked once. Let someone else ask. I think we should stop also. 4:10. My throat is already showing some symptoms. I have one more class now. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'm very happy and grateful to have your association for, I think, 3 brahmachari classes. Yesterday 2 and today 1, and today morning Bhagavatam also, of course, many of you are there. So in this whatever 7-8 hours of Krishna Katha discussion, I felt nourished definitely. I don't know about you. If I said anything wrong or inappropriate, please correct me and please forgive me. And I'm very grateful to you for your association, and I need your blessings for my continued devotional service. I'm not saying it as a ritual or a formality. I mean it. I really need your blessings and prayers for survival in bhakti. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let us thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting 3 times. Riva! 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 And one good news also is there that Prabhuji will be very frequently coming like this. I heard that you'll be taking this Maitri classes. Maitri classes you'll be taking, na this. So he has that special service given by superiors. So he'll be once in a month he'll be coming. So we are very fortunate to get association of such well read, very nicely thought about, put it into practice, and we can see that how when both things are going together, the way he was telling, that Shastric study is also there and the service also is there, then we can see such gems of realization come, which are very touching. So very thankful Prabhuji for extending yourself here. Thank you.